2006 season will also be a big year for several privateers. One such a racer is Thomas Rundle, and it is indeed privateers such as him that makes the ABSA Off-Road Championship Series what it is. In both the production car and special vehicle categories, the competition will be fiercer than ever. There were several different winners last year, meaning that the depth in the sport is ever increasing. Off-road aficionados agree this trend will continue in the season under discussion. In 2005 in Class E, George Barkhuizen in the Rubicon Toyota Hilux had a year which filled him with hope for the one ahead.
We started off with a desert race in Botswana. It was about the third race of the season, so we missed out on the first two. On the desert, Rod Herring navigated for me. We ended up with a second place in Class E. It was very well. And then from there on, we had about, I think, 2 third places, a couple of non-finishes. So we ended up 5th for the season, which I think for our first season out in Class E isn't too bad.
Indeed, it wasn't bad at all. But what is their trusty steed looking like for the 2006 campaign?
In the last year, we took the bold decision to build ourselves a complete new bakkie for the next season. It's based on the IMV Toyota Hilux. It will be the 2.7 VVTi engine that's going in there, and it should be good for the next season. It's got the coil-over front suspension, which should make life a lot easier on us. But it's also difficult. There's not much development taken place up to now, and we will venture into new territory. We were very fortunate to involve Rubicon Construction into our off-road racing team, and they are basically our main sponsors for the next season. The team will consist of myself driving the new Hilux. Sharon will navigate for me. David White will pilot the Truggy, and then our 2 new drivers will be Peter Ritven and Deval Boshoff. They will campaign my old Hilux bakkie.
And what's it like being in the hot seat with your better half?
It is really a hot seat, and it's terrific. I love motorsport, I love racing, and I think it's a benefit for husband and wife to enjoy it together. It's the feeling I get when we race together is a feeling of excitement, nervousness, and a sense of recklessness, because I don't know what's going to happen around the next corner.
For David White, there will be no one beside him. He has the driver's seat and the hot seat all to himself in the Rubicon 2-litre Truggy. What's he expecting from his solo season out there?
Well, last year it was quite difficult being the driver and navigator. It was my first year doing that. It proved difficult at some races. Some races was much easier. For instance, the Sugar Belt, I really enjoyed. I've done well there. It was well marked, and we hope the best for this year. That will also be well marked as a Sugar Belt last year.
But what's it all about, this own-some, lonesome stuff? Could you not find someone mad enough to fill the co's seat?
Yes, I was looking for a midget. I couldn't find one, and the only one suitable and who was able to race with me was poor old Noddy.
And that's only because they couldn't quite fit big ears in anywhere. Peter Ritven and Deval Boshoff are also making a comeback. And it's been quite a while. In fact, they last raced together when they were still in high school. It's been quite a long time coming, though.
We've been we wanted to race from Standard 9. We've started racing in Standard 9, and then we've left it for 20 years now. We've been sponsoring Dave for the last 2 years and for George last year. George decided to sell his old bakkie, build a new bakkie, and I decided then to buy his old bakkie. And me and Deval, as we've been together since grade 1, decided then to get together and race again. So that's where we started.
For Brian Martin in the Castrol 2.7 Toyota Hilux in Class E, the attraction of the off-road scene was like a moth to a flame.
I've been involved in motorsport for many years. I've raced in all facets of motorsport, and I've always been very impressed by the off-road series, on how well it's been organized, and just the camaraderie in off-road. And we've built cars here for drivers like Cassie Coetzee, Zane Pierce, and we've been quite successful. The company decided to go in-house and offered me the opportunity to drive the bakkie, which I grabbed with both hands because it's like a dream come true for me. The bakkie is great. It's the new shape IMV Toyota 2.7 4x4. I think it has a very good chance of doing well in Class E. My navigator is a guy by the name of Oki Fari. He's from Johannesburg. In fact, the original Condor that we built for Kasi Kutsia right here at Toyota, Oki was Kasi's navigator. I actually formed a relationship with Oki in that time, and I asked him at the beginning of the season if he would navigate, and he accepted, which I'm quite glad about because he's very experienced, he's a nice guy, and we get on very well.
In Class F, it was a season-long battle with several teams in the mix right up to the last race of the season in Brakpan at the Ford Carnival City 400. But for the toughest T combination of brothers Mark and Stuart Moffat in their even tougher Bosel Brospeed Land Rover, it was a great finish to a tough season. They clinched the National Championship trophy and all the spoils that went with that. Now they have to defend it.
Ended 2005 on a high note, took the championship. So we've got a challenge, we've got to keep F1. The vehicle in the off-season, we basically went through everything and checked the vehicle. No major hiccups or breaks in the vehicle that we had to sort out. A few modifications on the engine itself, taking the normal intake manifold out, putting throttle bodies on. And let's see how it goes. We'll take race for race. But the car has got its name, the old trusty Land Rover, so we just hope it keeps up to its name.
Yeah. You want to get it away? Bend it up a bit, otherwise...
So the battle lines have already been drawn. In last year's championship series, there were 7 titles up for grabs and only one, the Class B Special Vehicle National Trophy, had been decided before the final race of the season. But the saying in racing parlance is, you're only as good as your last season. And many of the teams out there preparing for the Western Cape Showdown are all too aware of that. For Gil Nel and his Bosel Brospeed Truggy 2-litre Subaru entered in Class A, that was definitely the case.
Last year we basically had a terrible year with teething problems on the car. We got the car pretty late for the first race, but we managed to get it there and to get it running. So, but we rolled it on the first race 7 times, and after that it was brakes and handling and steering and suspension problems. So we went through a bad session with the car. But then at the end of the year, in the off-season, we rebuilt the whole thing, and I went through everything myself, bit by bit. And hopefully we're going to have a better season. I've changed everything, even the color of the car. I've changed navigators, I've changed the number, and so we're putting our best foot in the door now. So let's see what happens this year, but it should go well, and we're all looking forward to a great year. And thanks to the help of the sponsors, we could go through the car thoroughly and give it a good rundown, and we've already tested it twice. And as we say, we're looking forward to the new year and to the new season, and hopefully we're going to give the guys a bit of a chase again and be back there.
Cape Town off-road enthusiasts will also have the chance to meet and greet their heroes and see, feel and touch the cars at the inaugural Off-Road Expo, which will take place at the V&A Waterfront in Cape Town on the 16th of March. The day before the pipe opener of the season, the Nissan Dealer 400 gets underway. A wide variety of production vehicles and special cars will be on display, not to mention the high-tech toys for boys which these teams employ. Talking teams, the Weichots had a big off early on in 2005, had to rebuild, and they are back in a big way in 2006. Meanwhile, there will be some more old faces out there campaigning in new colors. One of them is Dou de Boer, who will turn out in the Mahindra Scorpio Turbo 2.6.
2006 is going to be a fantastic season for us. It's the first time in about 8 years that I'm back on the circuit. And as I said before, you know, it is a passion. We've had the opportunity this year to be involved in the development of a Mahindra vehicle. Mahindra being the first time that a new product like this is being entered in South Africa. And I think it's a first for the Indian manufacturer as well. So as far as it goes, we're totally new. I've got a partner in crime, Ben Kruger, that's very well known. He's also had a lot of experience in 4x4 and also off-road rallies. And then, of course, he's used to sit in the hot seat in various national rallies. So Ben is very well equipped to drive along with us, and I think we're probably the two old men that's going to be having fun in this vehicle. And I've got a lot of hope and definitely a lot of trust in the Mahindra, and I think that for Mahindra, for the brand name itself, this will be a fantastic opportunity. For us to get back into motorsport, both Ben and myself, I think it's just a pleasure. It's going to be nice to be back with a big crowd again. Obviously, the 8 races that we're going to be running is going to be a fantastic experience. And then, of course, the first time ever that we've got a FIA international event here, and we will be there.
So will we be, and thus you too. Stay tuned.